Has your furry companion ever acted in a way that just defies logic? A moment so uncanny it felt like something more was happening. If you've nodded yes, then you have to realize this isn't just your imagination. You are actually seeing a prophecy come to life. One envisioned over 80 years ago by a man who could perceive the future in his sleep. His name was Edgar Cayce, famously called the sleeping prophet, because his most stunning visions came to him in deep trance states between 1910 and 1944. He logged over 14,000 recorded predictions that unfolded with chilling precision. He foresaw the Great Depression, both world wars, catastrophic earthquakes, and even the internet many decades before its creation. But one of Cayce's prophecies was nearly lost to time, until right now. A vision about dogs that is now materializing in your own house, your community, and all across the globe. In his trances, Cayce saw beyond just world events. He received vivid insights into how animals would spiritually evolve right alongside people. And out of all the species in his psychic readings, dogs occupied a profoundly unique position. Cayce stated in a 1943 session, "The four-legged protectors will awaken as the planet tunes to its new vibration. They are set to become living conduits between the material and the spirit realms. They are hidden masters sent to show humankind the meaning of unconditional love." Cayce framed dogs as living spiritual antennas, beings with the power to feel energies, foresee events, and even promote healing by their presence alone. He perceived that these creatures held abilities humans had forgotten over millennia, abilities that would be switched back on at a very specific point in our history. What's truly astonishing is how specific Cayce was about the timing of this canine evolution. He prophesied that the initial signals would become clear as humanity confronted immense global hurdles, pandemics, ecological shifts, rapid technological disruption, and a collective spiritual awakening. During one of his most profound visions, Cayce laid out 3 clear waves of this canine evolution. The first would be the capacity to sense diseases and anticipate events before they occur. The second wave would unlock direct thought-based communication with their humans. The third, and most transformative, would turn dogs into genuine energy purifiers, able to neutralize negative fields and support emotional recovery. When the talking machines connect all of mankind, Cayce uttered in 1944, a clear reference to the internet. The dogs will awaken to their genuine spiritual calling. They will transcend being mere pets. They will become conscious partners in the elevation of humanity's awareness. What adds another layer of wonder to this prophecy is that Cayce perceived many dogs joining families during this era of awakening were in fact advanced souls. They had chosen to embody themselves as animals to support humanity's shift. These were beings of light cloak as your family pet. But this is the absolute key. Cayce was not pointing to a far-off timeline. He was detailing exactly what is unfolding at this very second. The signals he foretold 8 decades ago are rapidly emerging all around you. Dogs identifying cancer ahead of doctors. Pets comforting their owners precisely when they are most needed, even across great distances. Animals that seem to literally clear a room of dense energy. Reports of almost telepathic connections between dogs and their people. None of this is a fluke. It's the tangible evidence of a prophecy playing out right in front of us. The only question left is, are you prepared to accept that your own dog is infinitely more than you've ever thought? Because after you understand what Cayce truly saw for the future of canines, your perspective on your four-legged friend will be forever changed. The canine awakening is here, and if you're looking closely, you'll probably see it happening inside your own home. In 1944, amidst one of his final and most powerful psychic trance sessions, Edgar Cayce witnessed a vision that silenced everyone in the room. His voice, altered by the profound state he was in, started painting pictures of a future where canines would adopt a completely different function in our world. "I see the four-legged protectors awakening," Cayce declared with a force that sent shivers down every spine. When the planet tunes into its new vibrational rate, dogs are destined to become living conduits between dimensions. They are no longer just animals, but hidden masters dispatched to demonstrate pure love and spiritual unity to humanity. The precise prophecy Case channeled that day laid out 3 separate waves of this canine awakening. The first wave would emerge as humanity collectively started its spiritual reawakening, a period he situated in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. In this stage, dogs would cultivate energetic healing capabilities, becoming able to sense diseases before medical professionals. The second wave was said to be even more stunning. Case foresaw dogs creating a direct mind-to-mind link with their humans, acting on thoughts before a single word was spoken. They would start appearing just when their people required emotional backup, as if directed by some higher wisdom. The third and most potent wave would see dogs operate as authentic energetic purifiers. They would possess the power to neutralize toxic energies in houses, medical facilities, and even within individuals dealing with profound trauma. Case called this capacity emotional alchemy, the power to alchemize suffering into healing simply by being present. But the context of this prophecy is what makes it so mind-blowing. Remember, this was 1944, deep in the turmoil of World War II. Dogs were mainly viewed as laborers or guard animals. The notion that they could serve spiritual or therapeutic functions was seen as ridiculous by the science of that era. The prophet gave even more detail, describing which dogs would be most touched by this shift. He foresaw that both purebreds and mixed breeds would showcase these powers, but that canines who were rescued or adopted would have an even more potent link to their spiritual calling. It was as though the very experience of being saved activated them for a greater purpose. In that very session, Case offered a bombshell revelation. He claimed that a great number of the dogs joining families in this new era would be advanced souls consciously choosing to incarnate in animal form to help humanity's consciousness transform. They were celestial beings hiding in plain sight as our companions. The vision also came with a significant heads up. Case foresaw that not everyone would be equipped to see these transformations in their pets. Many would dismiss special behaviors as simple coincidence or instinct. However, those who were spiritually tuned in would be able to build phenomenal partnerships with their canine friends. The most remarkable part of Case's prophecy was its timing accuracy. He predicted the initial signals would become obvious as humanity grappled with huge global crises, pandemics, ecological shifts, and swift technological change. This is exactly what we're living through right now. If you share your life with a dog, you have likely picked up on subtle shifts in their conduct over the last few years. Perhaps they've become more of a shadow, grown anxious right before you arrive home, or displayed a new level of sensitivity to places and people. These are not random acts. They are the initial indications of Case's prophecy materializing before your very eyes. Veterinarians globally started noticing a fascinating pattern in the 2000s. Canines that were once ordinary began displaying intuitive capabilities that defied all standard scientific reasoning. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, a specialist in veterinary behavior, chronicled over 300 instances of dogs developing what he termed emotional hyper-awareness, a capacity to perceive shifts in their owner's emotional state even before any physical cues appeared. One of the most powerful examples was Elizabeth Santos, 45, from New Jersey. Her golden retriever, Bobby, started acting bizarrely every time she was preparing to go to work. He would physically barricade the doorway, whimpering and refusing to budge. Elizabeth initially brushed it off as stubbornness, until she noticed Bobby only did this on days she felt immense stress or was heading into a workplace crisis. It felt like he knew I should stay home and look after myself. Elizabeth shares, on the days he was insistent I shouldn't go, something significant always occurred that forced me to re-evaluate things. I then realized Bobby wasn't being difficult. He was shielding me. But the signals stretch far past simple emotional radar. Researchers at Duke University in the US started collecting cases of dogs developing a talent for diagnosing illnesses with incredible precision. And this wasn't limited to cancer, which was already documented, but also conditions like diabetes, epilepsy, and even severe depression. The story of Luna, a 4-year-old Labrador, grabbed global attention when she began to persistently sniff her owner Joe's left arm for 3 straight weeks. Joe brushed it off until Luna escalated, barking and pawing at the exact spot. Concerned, he went to a doctor and found a small tumor that hadn't shown up in his regular check-ups. The tumor was located precisely where Luna had been focusing. Animal rescues also began to observe profound changes. Dogs once deemed unadoptable started forging instant bonds with certain visitors. It seemed as though they knew exactly which person desperately needed their love in that moment. Anna Claudia Ferrer, a rescue coordinator, shared, "I began to see that the dogs were picking their people, not the reverse. They would gravitate towards individuals navigating hard times. Divorce, loss, sickness. It's like they have a built-in sensor for who needs pure, unconditional love the most." Another powerful indicator was the explosive rise in certified therapy dogs globally. Between 2010 and 2020, the count of canines trained for emotional support jumped by over 400% worldwide. But what really grabbed experts' attention was that many of these animals began showing therapeutic gifts naturally, before they ever had formal training. Hospitals documented stories of visiting dogs that could pinpoint patients who most required comfort. They would bypass people who were stable and walk right to the beds of those in critical recovery phases. Nurses started using this canine sense as another tool to spot patients needing extra care. Animal behavior institutes noted that dogs started to react to weather events like storms and earthquakes with much more warning time. Previously, they might get antsy hours before a tremor, but now some dogs are alerting their families up to 2 full days ahead. The most amazing part of these initial signals is how universal they are. It doesn't depend on the breed, age, or life story of the dog. These special gifts are cropping up in all kinds of canines. From poodles in high rises to mutts on country farms, they all appear to be activating abilities that were long asleep. Even more incredible, this was only the start. The signals that emerged in the 2000s were merely the prophecy's first wave. What was to follow would be even more phenomenal. Picture this: you get home from a draining day, and you feel that heavy cloud of stress just melt away the instant your dog gets close. This isn't wishful thinking or your imagination. It's the tangible proof of a skill that dogs are quickly mastering: the power to act as genuine energetic filters. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, a biologist who researches unexplained phenomena, dedicated over a decade to chronicling cases of dogs showcasing abilities far beyond what conventional science acknowledges. His work uncovered that dogs everywhere are cultivating a remarkable sensitivity to sense and transmute negative energies in places and people. The most well-known case was the Thompson family in England. After they moved into an old home, everyone in the family started having nightmares, trouble sleeping, and a constant feeling of being on edge. Max, the family's German shepherd, developed a strange routine. He would patrol the house each night, pausing at certain spots where he'd stand perfectly still for several minutes, looking as if he were engaged in some unseen task. Max had this kind of nightly ritual, says Sarah Thompson. He would take these long, deep breaths in specific corners, sometimes whine gently, and then shake his entire body like he was flinging something away. After he did his rounds, we all began to sleep peacefully. The family brought in an energy expert to assess the home. The professional verified there were multiple pockets of residual energy in the house, exactly where Max performed his nightly patrol. A few weeks into the canine's ritual, both the expert and the family agreed the energy in the house had completely shifted. Hospitals and clinics worldwide also saw similar events with their therapy dogs. Nurses shared stories of certain dogs identifying rooms with a heavy atmosphere and refusing to go in until the area was energetically cleared. Once they did enter, the patients in those rooms showed marked improvements, both emotionally and physically. Holistic practitioners have started partnering with these special dogs to amplify their sessions. During energy work, some dogs have shown a capacity to draw in the negative energies their clients release, and then discharge that energy by yawning, shivering, or even running in circles. Esther, a Reiki master, has collaborated with her dog Isis for 3 years during her sessions. Isis always lies down at the client's feet during a treatment. When we tap into deep traumas or emotional knots, she physically shivers as if she's processing that toxic energy. Afterwards, she gets up, shakes it off, drinks some water, and comes back totally refreshed. Homes that have been through trauma, like deaths, breakups, or intense fights, have reported their dogs starting spontaneous energy clearing behaviors. They methodically walk the house, pause where conflicts happened, and then lie down for extended periods, as if they are absorbing and transforming the leftover energy. Some canines have even honed the skill of neutralizing negative energy with a single touch. Stories of people feeling an immediate wave of calm after being touched by certain dogs have skyrocketed in recent years. It's not just a normal touch, it feels like a deliberate transfer of positive energy. The story of Amando, a mixed breed rescued by Ferdinand, is a perfect illustration of this shift. Whenever a visitor came to his home feeling stressed or down, Amando would walk over and rest his paw on them for a few minutes. Without fail, every person reported an instant feeling of peace and lightness. Amando seems to have an inner compass for finding who needs a positive charge, says Ferdinand. He's never made a mistake, and the amazing part is that after he gives his treatments, people always leave looking visibly brighter and more centered. This canine spiritual development doesn't stop at energy clearing. A multitude of dogs are now cultivating the power to shield their homes and families from harmful external energies. They can sense when people with ill intentions are near and seem to form a kind of protective energetic bubble around their home. Social media is overflowing daily with clips of dogs doing things that seem unbelievable. Canines showing up from thin air to shield children from harm. Pets rousing whole families just seconds before a house fire. Animals finding lost people in circumstances that defy all known logic. These are not just random stories. They are evidence of the third wave of cases prophecy, growing stronger all around us. A case that captured worldwide focus unfolded in March 2023 in a tiny town in Minas Gerais. Baya, a young 8-month-old mutt, started barking frantically in the dead of night, scratching urgently at her owner's bedroom door. The family woke up, irritated, assuming she just needed to go out, but Bella darted straight to the room of their 6-month-old baby and continued her alarm. When the parents got to the crib, they saw the baby was in apnea, her skin a terrifying shade of purple. The doctors later confirmed that without Baya's warning, the child would not have made it. The incredible part is that Baya had never displayed this kind of protective instinct before. It's as if she awakened to her role as a guardian at the precise second she was most needed. Let me know in the comments below, has your dog ever done something that left you completely stunned? Some form of impossible rescue or act of protection? Dr. James Serpell, who directs the Center for the Interaction of Animals and Society at the University of Pennsylvania, has gathered similar reports for over 5 years. His work details over 200 instances of dogs saving human lives in ways that science is still struggling to understand. What we're seeing here goes far beyond the typical protective drive, explains Dr. Serpell. These canines display a precognitive awareness. They sense something is about to happen before any physical clue exists. It's almost like they can tap into a stream of information they shouldn't have access to. The mystery deepens when you look at dogs who rescue total strangers. In October 2023, a German shepherd named Thor broke free from his yard and bolted 3 blocks to a building site. Once there, he barked relentlessly at a crew of workers, stopping them from entering a certain section. 20 minutes later, the very spot where Thor had blocked them, a concrete slab crashed to the ground. Thor had never run off like that, his owner reported, and there was absolutely no way for him to know about the structural risk at that site. It was like he was given a direct mission in that moment. Before we move on, I want to invite you to join the Quantum Thinking Challenge. It's a 21-day journey to rewire your mindset, elevate your vibration, and unlock your true energetic power. For 3 weeks, you will get daily exercises to shift your frequency and start pulling in everything you truly want. Find the link in the top pinned comment. Now, just for a second, picture thinking about going home and finding your dog already positioned at the door, even though you're miles away with no fixed return time. Or what about your pet showing up at your side exactly when you feel a wave of sadness, even though you haven't shown any sign of it? This isn't a fantasy. This is direct, telepathic connection unfolding between you and your dog. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake performed the most exhaustive research ever on animal telepathy. Over a 10-year span, he recorded more than 4,000 cases of dogs who showed an ability to perceive their owner's thoughts and intentions from far away. The findings were so profound that they threw our whole concept of animal communication into question. Sheldrake's most notable experiment centered on JT, a fox terrier who always knew when his human, Pam Smart, was headed home. The amazing part was that Pam had an erratic work schedule and used various methods of transport every day. Cameras set up in their house revealed that JT would start to get excited and watch from the window at the very moment Pam decided to come home. It wasn't when she left the office, but when the actual thought to return home sparked in her mind. Who observed JT for 2 straight years. Sheldrake noted, it made no difference if Pam came back by car, bus, train, or walking. It didn't matter if she was early or late. JT always knew the exact second she formed the intention to return. This mind-to-mind link isn't just about reading emotional states. Dogs are proving they can respond to specific mental directions. Sarah Johnson, a dog trainer in LA, created an experimental program to test this out. I had owners simply think specific commands while looking at their dogs. Sarah explains. The outcomes were incredible. Dogs were following mental cues like sit, come, and stay with a 78% accuracy rate. The most mind-boggling part of canine telepathy is its power to ignore physical distance. US military members have reported stories of their dogs reacting to life-threatening dangers their soldier owners faced on battlefields thousands of miles away. Corporal James Mitchell, a veteran of the Iraq War, shares that his dog, Princess, who was stateside during his tour, would always get distressed and cry on the very same days he was in heavy firefights. My wife began to log the dates Princess was completely beside herself. When I got back and cross-referenced it with my mission journal, the timing was an exact match. Scientists at Duke University are investigating the brain science behind this telepathic link. Using simultaneous MRI scans of dogs and their humans, they found synchronized brainwave activity that points to a kind of wireless communication between the species. We witnessed brainwaves aligning between dogs and their owners, even when they were in different, isolated rooms, explains Dr. Michael Chen, the lead neuroscientist on the project. It's as though there's a shared channel that permits information to flow without any physical means of communication. Telepathic links are also appearing in shared dreams. Hundreds of individuals have reported dreams in which their dogs show up with clear messages or warnings that relate to their waking lives. Have you ever stopped to ask why all of these canine abilities are activating right at this moment? Why are dogs across the planet all waking up at the same time to skills that would have sounded like science fiction just 2 decades ago? The reason is tied to something much bigger than we can grasp. A planetary frequency shift that Edgar Cayce foresaw with stunning clarity. Based on Cayce's visions, Earth was set to begin a new stage of its evolution in the early 21st century, defined by a rapid up-leveling of collective human consciousness. He portrayed this time as the Great Awakening, where both people and animals would unlock dormant spiritual gifts to help them navigate the profound shifts of this global transition. As humanity confronts its most significant tests, Cayce stated in 1943, the 4-legged protectors will activate to shepherd and shield them during the shift into the new earth. They will act as lanterns of pure love in chaotic times. Dr. David Hawkins, a a psychiatrist and consciousness researcher, created a scale to chart the collective energy vibration of humankind. His work demonstrates that since the year 2000, human consciousness has been on an unprecedented upward curve, it jumping from states of survival to spiritual awareness at a speed that would typically require centuries. We are observing a real-time evolution of consciousness, Dr. Hawkins explains. And animals, particularly dogs, are tuning into this vibrational uplift by activating powers that link them more profoundly to our human journey. The timing is simply too perfect to dismiss. The first powerful displays of special dog abilities began to be widely reported starting in 2001, precisely when humanity endured one of the greatest collective traumas of our time. It was as though canines were sent a cosmic signal to launch their spiritual support mission. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute found that major global traumas create measurable electromagnetic pulses that ripple across the planet's energy field. These pulses don't just affect human behavior, they also trigger evolutionary responses in our animal companions, especially those with strong emotional ties to us. Dogs operate like living receivers for these planetary energy shifts, says Dr. Rollin McCraty, the research director at HeartMath. They are picking up on frequencies that we as humans are only now starting to grasp with science. The 2020 pandemic was another pivotal moment in this canine awakening. Vets worldwide noted a massive surge in unusual behaviors in dogs during the lockdown periods. Animals that had never seemed particularly sensitive started showing abilities in emotional detection, energy healing, and even foresight. It was like the collective emotional pressure of the pandemic flipped a switch that was dormant in dogs, says Dr. Sandra Molina, a behavioral vet from Madrid. I saw more reports of psychic canine activity in 2 years than in my entire career before that. This phenomenon isn't just tied to difficult events. Worldwide celebrations, unified meditations, and mass spiritual gatherings also create energy waves that boost canine gifts. During cosmic events like solar eclipses and supermoons, animal research facilities log sharp increases in telepathic activity and healing behaviors in dogs all over the globe. Quantum physicists are now postulating that dogs might be tapping into what is known as the collective morphogenetic field, a wireless information grid that links every living consciousness on Earth. As humanity elevates its own vibration through challenges, personal growth, and spiritual discovery, dogs are automatically aligning with these higher frequencies. Dogs have always been attuned to subtle energy grids, states Dr. Amit Goswami, a quantum physicist and author. But now, as human awareness expands, they are connecting to levels of quantum data that let them serve as conduits between different realities. The digital era also has a significant part to play. The very technology that links billions of human minds instantly is generating a worldwide electromagnetic network that amplifies the natural psychic awareness of dogs. They are literally catching the informational waves flowing through our global communication systems. Spiritual centers around the world share that their resident canines have begun to display special actions that sync up with global meditations and unified prayer movements. During events like Earth Day or global peace initiatives, these animals will spontaneously enter profound meditative states. Our dogs serve as living barometers for the planet's rising consciousness, says Lama Tenzin from a Buddhist center in Brasilia. When humanity comes together with positive focus, our canine friends react instantly, emitting a peace that further amplifies the collective field. Astrologers and students of cosmic patterns highlight that we're in what many ancient cultures called the age of transition, a time when the planet's consciousness fundamentally reorganizes itself. Dogs, as creatures naturally wired into cosmic rhythms, are functioning as catalysts for this shift. Dogs are the first to receive the new frequencies arriving on our planet, explains Maria Helena Romalo, an astrologer and cosmic cycle expert. They are giving us a preview of what the next chapter of conscious evolution looks like: more telepathic, more compassionate, more energetically linked. The urgency of climate change and global environmental stress has also sparked a kind of collective survival instinct in dogs. They appear to grasp at a profound level that their own spiritual development is tied to the survival and growth of human consciousness. Evolutionary biologists are suggesting that we're seeing what is called accelerated symbiotic evolution. This is where two species evolve rapidly when faced with extreme environmental pressures, cultivating traits that support each other's survival. Dogs are evolving into our conscious collaborators to help us navigate the planetary hurdles we're up against, proposes Dr. Lynn Margulis, an evolutionary biologist. They are developing the exact skills we are most in need of: intuition, healing, advanced problem spotting, and emotional support to get us through this pivotal era of human history. The canine awakening isn't a random event. It's a component of a grand cosmic design, preparing both humans and animals for a new era of existence on this planet. Dogs have deliberately stepped into the roles of guides, healers, and protectors during this vital transition. This is why so many people feel that their dog chose them, that they arrived with a unique purpose, or are so much more than a simple pet. Because it's true, they are conscious partners in one of the most significant transformations Earth's consciousness has ever undergone. Edgar Cayce's prophecy wasn't just a prediction, it was a guidebook for a reality that is already here. Right now, in this moment, millions of dogs across the planet are serving as living bridges between realities, as energetic healers, and as humanity's spiritual guardians. The real question has shifted from if this will happen to how will you engage with this new reality. If you have a dog in your home, you must consider that they are likely far more than you currently perceive. Recent data reveals that 73% of household dogs show at least one special talent that their owners first write off as a fluke. Learning to spot and encourage these gifts can utterly transform your bond and unlock channels of connection you never dreamed were real. The first move is to look for patterns in your dog's actions that go beyond simple instinct. Does your dog just appear at your side when you feel down, even when you're in a different room? Do they get agitated right before unexpected company shows up? Do they fixate on specific areas of your body that you later find are sources of pain or health trouble? These are not arbitrary acts. They are the signs of spiritual skills coming online. Dr. Patricia Goodman, a specialist in animal communication, has outlined a simple way to identify dogs with these special gifts. Notice if your dog seems to act on your thoughts before you speak them. From another room, try to mentally call them to you. See if they react to your emotions, even when you're trying to conceal them. These are undeniable signals of a working telepathic connection. To help these gifts flourish, create daily moments of intentional connection with your dog. Just sit quietly with them for 10 or 15 minutes. Gently meet their gaze and silently project feelings of love and gratitude. Countless owners report that this simple act powerfully boosts the telepathic link with their pets. For those of you who don't yet have a canine friend, be ready to spot when a special one comes into your life. Dogs with clear spiritual purposes often find their human families through amazing synchronicities. They might show up precisely when you are at your lowest, exhibit an immediate and powerful bond, or come to you through circumstances that feel like destiny. Completely new careers are now forming to cater to this new world. Animal communicators, human-canine connection coaches, telepathic skill trainers, and therapists who work with human-dog teams are seeing a huge surge in demand. Technology is evolving to keep up. Apps are being developed to track the energetic sync between humans and dogs. Devices can measure the energy fields in homes with special pets, and online communities are connecting owners of dogs with shared abilities, transforming how we see this partnership. Your dog might just be one of the hidden masters Cayce saw in his visions, and you might just be one of the people chosen to participate in this profound shift, one that is completely rewriting what it means to be human on a planet where consciousness is evolving at an incredible speed.